Okay, hi everybody. YYCK here. Yup, this is the part three, second series of the building of the diff case or whatever to do with the diff case, right? So today I'm going to show you guys how to shim the diff case when you put the diff into it, right? And before I start, have to straight out one thing, and also there's a second thing that I have to tell you guys. First, I have to straight this out. Is last time I told you guys like the shim right here, like this is a Kyosho shim, not Kyoshi. Yeah, I give you guys the wrong information because I was so in a hurry to finish my super outcast, right? So this is Kyosho shim, not Kyoshi. But the Protect is right. The Protect, right? The brand of the Protect, right? That one is right, but just this one. Okay, and second thing, yeah, at the end of the video, I will let you guys know what I mean on the mesh by highest point and lowest point. And yep, let's just start. First, there's two things, right? First thing, right? The first you have to know is how many tolerance do you have in there, right? Like without all the shim. Like let me take off all this shim. Yeah, take off all this shim first. So when you don't have any shim, just that diff with the diff case, right? You put it in there, and you can see it's moving side to side, right? If you see, you can see that, right? So see, you can see the movement, right? So that is what you don't want when you're running your rig, right? So for first, when you want to take that out, you have to like measure it with the shim. How many shim you have to put it on there, right? So by adding the shim, right? So this one, I have this four, include this one on the table, 4 Kyosho shim, 0.15. I was so lucky on this this HR diff case. I only put 4 of this Kyosho shim, and it worked already, right? When I measured, it worked already. So this shim is to like how many shim, right? For how many shim you put it on there, I have 4 Kyosho, right? On this diff, when I put it on there, way away, you can use this as a reference if you have a HR diff. So 4 Kyosho, sorry, Kyosho shim. When I put it on there, like of course I put one on this side because I want to pull my gear to the left hand side, right? I will tell you guys that one later. That is the second thing. The first thing is to measure how many shim. You can put it all on one side to measure too, right? But like because I did my other diff already, so I know it's probably 3 on one side with the Kyosho and 1 on the other side. That's all I know on from the previous diff, right? So after you know how many shim you need, right? Around how many, because you don't know yet, right? And then put it into the case, right? Assemble it into the case, right? Make sure the shim is sitting inside the grill. That's a grill right here, right? Make sure it's inside that. Like put this side that have the most shim, like this side have the most shim, right? Put this one in first before you put this side in. Can you guys see? Right, this side all the shim is in, but not this side yet. So pull up a little bit. As long as you pull it up, as long when you pulling the diff out a little bit, the shim, sorry, my phone is not focusing. As long as when you're pulling this out, the shim don't come out, and that it will be fine, right? On the left hand side, and pull a little bit out because you need this to go in, right? And then turn this way, right? Turn this way and stuck that shim down there. Oh, is that in? Stuck this shim down to the grill, right? And when it's in, it's going to slide into it. So push the shim in onto the grill with the bearing tight in there. Come on. Oh man, it's the shim. Okay, so after you pull it in, it's going to slide in by itself. So check this side if the shim is in place too. So now you can see it's all in place, right? So and line the shim up with the bearing. Make sure you do that, or you will have a bad measurement later, right? When you want to measure this, say look at this, it's flush with the bearing, right? This side too, right? Okay, so now after you get those in, you have, like this, the first step, right? You have to see if it have any play, right? It's not moving right now. In the diff case, like side by side, like hold it side by side like this, right? Like wiggling side by side, like on the diff, like on the where the drive is, the out drive, and as long as the diff is not moving inside the diff case, side to side, then this is the how many shim you need. So on my HR diff case, with this diff, I need 4. I need 4 of this Kyosho. Sorry, the light. So Kyosho one, like 4 of this Kyosho 0.15. So that means 6mm gap that I have in this. Oh, it's not focusing again. Yeah, that means I have the tolerance in between the case and the diff where the bearing is. The tolerance is 0.6 millimeter, right? All together, the gap is gone, right? So that is the first step, right? The second step, I already, like, for second step, I already did it, right? Because I put one shim onto the other side to pull this gear back to the left hand side, right? This gear, I pull this gear back to the left hand side because I put one shim here, so it pull this whole thing, this whole gear, this whole gear back to that side, right? You can you can do this too, right? You can put 4 on one side first. Yeah, so now this diff, I have all the shim, 4 of this Kyosho shim on one side, and there's nothing on this side, and put it in upside down like this so that it's easier for the shim to go in. See? And then now you move this, it's not moving, right? Yeah, that's also, you can do this too. So that means you need, like, right, the side to side movement on the diff, and it's not moving in the diff case. Then that is how many shim you need. That means 4 on mine, right? And then after that, pull that thing back out, move one shim one by one, right? Move one by one, just like me when I was doing this before. I would get one shim back to the other side because mine need one shim to the other side. So now I've 3. My phone is not focusing. I got 3 on left hand side, and now I put the one Kyosho shim on the other. So 3 Kyosho on the left hand side, and 1 Kyosho on the other side. So what is a good mesh, right? A lot of people will probably ask what is a good mesh, right? Well, like for plastic and aluminum case, they're both the same. You want to find the closest, you want it to be as close to that side as possible for the gear to touch the gear, right? So good mesh is like this, like when you hold your out drive like this, 3 out drive, right? And when you hold this one right here and turn this one right here, just like you're doing your paper mesh on your spur and pinion, you hold both, and then turn this one right here. Can you hear that? And look at the gear, it's not moving at all, but it's moving a little bit, but you guys just cannot see it. Maybe in the video, maybe you guys cannot see it, but it's moving. The gear is moving, and you can hear that click, right? So that is the closest on the highest point. Highest point on these 2 gear when they touch each other. That's the highest point. That is what you want. You want to hear the clicking sound. You want to be as close as you can be, like going to that side where the tooth to tooth or the teeth to teeth, You want it as close as possible, like almost touching each other. The noise that I was telling you guys about is this, right? But on the one that I just showed you, like before I just showed you, it's not moving at all, right? Because that is the highest point on the gear. The gear is like totally like right now you can see, right? That is a movement because I did move the gear, right? And now it's not at the highest point, right? So that's why that's wrong. But like you have to keep turning this and go to the highest point, and you can feel like no movement on the gear. And see, look at this. This is the highest point on the gear, on all this gear. You can hear the clicking, but the gear is not moving at all. That is the point where you want to measure your mesh, right? This is the point where you want the mesh to be. That is the right mesh. If you hear clicking noise and the gear is not moving, because if you hear the clicking noise, that means that is still wrong, right? But you cannot see the gear moving at all. Sometimes you cannot even see it move, but you hear the clicking. The clicking is to tell you this is the right point with the gear not moving. That is the highest point that you want to measure. Then this diff is going to be good now. With no gear movement, but you can still hear the click. That is as close as you can do, right? On the highest point. That is what you want. Because that is the point that where they didn't cut the grill like a lot. And that is the highest on this gear, right? So that's where you want to measure, from the highest point on the gear, right? And if you move it, you can see that's a lot more movement on the other area. That is not the right point. That is the lower point. That's what you don't want to measure it from. You can see the gear is moving right here, right now. See, you can see the gear is moving. So that is not the highest point. That's lower point. So you want to find the highest point to measure it. So that's, you have to keep doing this to find that point. Yeah, that's still not the highest. Yeah, you have to keep turning like a full circle to find that point. And then measure your mesh right there and put the shim. Whatever shim, like if you have to move it around, right? You have to use that point to move your shim around, and then to make that highest point tight. The lowest point you don't care. You just want the highest point on the gear, like so. Like you will not feel the movement, but you still hear the click. Then that is the, see, look at this. It's not moving here. Also, I have 4 Kyoso in there. So that means, so it's using the gap is 0.15 on this Kyoso. So 0.6, yeah, it's a 0.6 millimeter gap. So I have 0.6 like for both this side and this side, in between the diff and diff case. When I put this diff in the diff case, so the tolerance for the both side for shimming is 6 millimeter, because I put 4 of this 0.15 millimeter in it, so it's 6, right? Because I put 4. Well, I put 4 shim in there, or 4 Kyoso, right? So this Kyoso is 0.15, so it's 6 millimeter altogether, right? So that means if you want to switch to this, you have to do some subtraction or whatever, right? Yeah, you have to do some like so this 0.1. This is 0.1, right? So you have to take off take off I think 2 of this and add 3 of protect. Okay, at the end of this video, yep, I'm going to show you guys the diagram about what I was talking about, highest point and lowest point. First, don't get mad on my drawing. Come on. I know I'm not good painter or draw. I don't draw good, right? I'm not that good on drawing. This is the big gear, that's the small gear, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I hope you guys understand this diagram. That's it. If I'm that good on drawing, I will be posing up drawing instead of RC stuff, right? Okay, so this is the big gear, that's the small gear, right? Yeah, so well, it doesn't matter, right? All I need to let you guys know is the highest point. Highest point is where the grill on the gear, that is a higher. That's what I mean, right? Higher right here, right? So the V is a little bit smaller. This V right here is smaller, so it's closer, right? The gear to gear is closer on this gear, and the lowest point is deeper, right? So the V is wider here, right here. So that means there's more gap here and there's less gap here, right? So that's why you want to find the highest point to measure your gear, right? Because of course the other gear they're going to like this gear is going to go through easier, right? Because it's going to be wider on the top, right? But for this one, it's going to be closer, right? This gap is going to be like smaller, right? So the gear will have a hard time to go through if you measure it on the lowest point, right? Or it will chip the tooth, right? If you rerun the tooth to this point. So that's what I mean by highest point, right? And that's lowest point, right? So for my videos, I will tell you guys about my video, about this outcast roller build. I will now show less video like from now on, because come on, I find that with filming and building this outcast roller, I spend too much time on it, right? I just don't have the time, right? Include my life, right? Whatever is surrounding my life. So I will do less video about this outcast roller, but I will still get some video out, right? If I think something is really important, especially for those new people, right, who's new on arrma stuff, right? But like I said, I'm new to this too, right? So I'm just learn as I go too, right? And also to see what is similar with the trucks that I have. So if you guys are really into arrma already, and if you guys find something that I did wrong, or if you think that's another way that is better that you have a video, let me know, right? And also like I want to improve myself by learning, so you guys can leave me some comment, right? Telling me how I did or what I need to improve, right? And also if you have a friend that have problem, right, that any video that I saw about this outcast roller or my other video, if they have any problem and you saw it on my channel, and you if it's something that I already have on the channel, share with them and tell them, hey, that's you can do it like this or whatever, right? And show them, right? Just share my video to them, right? And give me a like, yeah, of course. I really need you guys to either give me a like or subscribe, right? Subscribe to my channel, because come on, I do all this for free. I do it because I was doing it and I was running my trucky, right? Or my truck, right? So it's totally like for free, and also I really want to get this out because I know some people like to look at video like this, right? Building or fixing stuff or running video, like some people like it, right? That's why I post it up. So but without your support, I will do less. That's all I know. Because come on, this is my hobby, right? Only, right? And doing video is not really my hobby, but I was doing it because I was doing this is my hobby, right? Because the RC is my hobby, that's it, right? And since I'm playing or fixing or building stuff, of course I film them on, I have a video out, right? Because I put my cam on the side and do it, or in front of me and do it, right? But videoing is not my stuff, right? Doing video is not my stuff. So yeah, give me a like and subscribe. Come on. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one too, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye now.